Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, Rovi, and MScribe, and today we're going to be talking about some Bitcoin, some fractals, some how memes are going to save us, save our bags.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, all of it doesn't matter because we're plummeting into the next Great Depression and World War III.
Yeah,
so
it's no big deal.
Who really cares, right?
Right.
Does Bitcoin really matter?
No, the robots are going to be fighting for us, so who cares, dude?
Yeah, so let's start off with that. What the hell's going on? Why is the sky falling? Is the sky actually falling?
Yeah.
Right? Something happened over the weekend. Everyone got significantly less wealthy, I guess. Pretty much across the planet, right?
Yeah.
Just about everyone. I don't think anybody was not impacted by this in any way.
Well, didn't Warren Buffett sell a bunch of Apple stock?
Yeah.
He's holding like $250 billion in cash.
Amazing position to have, dude. I wonder what he's planning to do with all that cash.
Who whispered to him? Was like, hey, push the button, dude, right now.
Fucking Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. He definitely got the call, he
got the emails.
He got the red telephone call, right? Straight from the executive branch.
Yeah,
something.
Must have.
Yeah, it's like
how do they position themselves so perfectly?
Like before the massive sell off?
Yeah, maybe they have like a stop loss.
I don't know, dude. Whatever, dude. But the point is, the rest of us obviously did not get that call, right? No. So we're over here scratching our heads, what the fuck happened, dude? I thought, I thought that was a bullish Bitcoin Nashville conference, dude. I thought we were going to the moon.
Yeah, $50 million Bitcoin for sure.
Yeah. So this is a clear, obvious, I guess, wake up call. There's a bigger world out there outside of just crypto and Bitcoin.
It's true.
Because this is clearly a macro coincidence, right?
Yeah.
A lot of factors. So let's kind of briefly go over that.
But first, on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing a Twitter space.
That's tomorrow, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do a lot more of these lately. DMT focused discussions, whatever. We're just going to be some co-speakers on this panel. We got EV, Giern, who's doing the Blockpedia stuff. So publishing on chain, stuff like that. So the conversation can be pretty dynamic here, but obviously, we got some stuff to discuss, block drops and metaverse implications and such. So
that's correct.
Definitely join us if you can.
But yeah, so going back to the collapse of the universe, we have a bunch of red squares. It's not only just crypto, but Microsoft is down, Apple's down. Yeah. Should be 10% almost.
Yeah, everything.
Tesla, everything.
Yeah, the tech stocks are taking the biggest brunt and burden, but it's not as bad as it looks, is what you were saying, right? There's a reason why.
Yeah. I mean, if you remember, in the short history of tech stocks being in the trillions of dollars, that is only a recent phenomenon just because of all this inflation that we've had.
Correct.
And so when numbers go down, they go down at a faster rate.
Yeah.
And therefore they hit historic absolute numbers in losses
collectively.
But it's nothing that we haven't already seen before in the past.
Yeah. But nonetheless,
especially with the potential war that's happening between Israel and Iran and all this, they've been in beef for decades.
Yeah, but it's the occasional, bus bomb or, the occasional missile through some random, high rise. It's never been a full force, full escalation attempt.
Yeah.
Which is being advertised right now. Literally, there's propaganda out there, missiles,
I've seen
endless missiles just raining down, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a good AI
I didn't
video.
know there was a marketing department for war, but apparently there is. It's before we go, we gotta hype this up, lads.
Let's break all physics and just launch 1,000 missiles all at once.
I guess it's the new modern day drums of war, right? It's whenever, if you're in Roman times, you just look out into the horizon of the woods and you just hear doom. It's oh fuck, dude, the barbarians are about to invade. Right? Instead it's let's tweet something.
Right.
Some modern day barbarians are on the horizon, dude. So it's fascinating, just from a world history perspective, what's going on.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, okay, so markets are down, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So we're used to this.
Stock markets, of course.
Fear of recession, fear of war. But what does this actually mean, right? This happened before. Remember last cycle?
Yeah, COVID.
There's some scary shit happening 4 years ago.
That was absolutely scary. That did feel like it was going to change some shit for real. For real this time.
Yeah, because I guess a global pandemic was outside of our experience.
Black Swan target board.
Or just the context of our own experience, right? We've we're familiar with war, right?
Yeah.
You know, mass casualty and
endless wars we've had here. Yeah.
We've always, there's some war always happening on Earth, right? We're familiar with like economic collapses, you know, with the housing bubble in 2008 and such.
Right.
Stock market bubble early 2000s. Like, these things happen, so we're kind of expecting them at some point. But pandemic, though, whoa.
Yeah.
That's like a once in 100-year occurrence. You know,
Correct.
You don't expect those things. So, yeah, that was genuinely scary. But from a market perspective, basically the same reaction, right?
Yeah, it's all red squares.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so here, same reaction. So basically, this is reminiscent of the COVID crash. This is the COVID crash.
And
and then boom, explosion. So, but this had a lot of money printing activity and all this stuff. So this might not happen like this exactly.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Interest rates were actually like at all-time lows at around that point, weren't they?
Yeah.
Now they're like at highs. Everybody's like anticipating these rate cuts and stuff. But
yeah.
They're saying not going to happen. Therefore, like fears, recession talks are looming. So it is a different like macro scenario.
Environment, right.
Yeah, back then it's like, all right, the solution is money printer go burr, and then
it absolutely worked.
Tech bubble ensues, crypto bubble ensued in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
It was madhouse, right? So maybe we can't do that again, dude.
Yeah, maybe not,
or maybe we can,
but we probably will.
We probably will. They'll think of something, right? The Federal Reserve, maybe.
I mean, what's the difference between $30 trillion in debt and $40 trillion? Like,
yeah, well,
what's the difference?
Yeah, they'll figure it out. The point is we move forward, right? Just like we did 4 years ago.
Well, I have a solution, man.
Okay.
Pump fun on Bitcoin. That's the solution. More memes. That's going to catalyze markets. It's going to reverse sentiment. And it's going to pump everybody's bags.
Seems to be. So this is OP Fun. If you don't know, this is, I guess, some initiative cooking within the OPNet sphere. So we talked about them last week. The CBRC 20 guys.
Yeah.
You know, they've officially entered this programmability layer race, right? With like 10 to 20 different actors also kind of like pursuing the same goal.
Correct.
Like, how do we make layer one assets more functional? Very worthwhile, you know, initiative, right? So, but yeah, like as of today, the flagship showcase of like that breakthrough paradigm is memes.
Yeah, that's great. I'm excited.
Well,
I can't contain the excitement.
Yeah. So, okay. So it's not just OVNet, it's also Fractal Bitcoin, right?
Fractal Bitcoin, right. Yeah, and they have their own Pump Fun.
So what is Pump Fun? If you don't remember, this was like some sort of...
Pump.fun on Ethereum,
It was a Solana.
Oh, Solana, yeah.
Solana
right.
madhouse, essentially, where... You know,
yeah, it was like a seizure waiting to happen on the website. It's just a bunch of flashes and memes and just...
Well, we talked about it, right? And we went there. It was definitely like visually stimulating, to say the least.
Yeah.
But it had some built-in mechanisms, I guess, that kind of like abstracted all the complexities of like launching a Web3 token, like to the back end. So like if you're a front-end user, you just want to launch a token that does like its pumpamentals.
Right.
You don't have to worry about programming some smart contract. None of that, dude. We have it all figured out for you. It's just like meme tickers at the click of a button.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, it piqued interest of even celebrities to join in.
Yeah, so this was a phenomenon, mostly on Solana. So us Bitcoiners who were like focused on ordinals and runes and stuff, we mostly missed out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's so impactful, such a breakthrough in Web3's time. Like this needs to exist on Bitcoin.
Yeah, obviously, dude. All right, so then I'm sure you're asking, well, what is Fractal Bitcoin?
Yeah.
And so there's a pretty long explanation here on what it is.
If you've been anywhere on Twitter, you're probably wondering, why is everyone shoving this in my face now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Literally everybody is talking about it now. It's all the Ordfluencer types, it's like, hey man, you better be aware of Fractal. So this reminds me a lot of pre-runes, hysteria, right? And new protocols on the horizon.
Yeah.
There's a story behind this protocol like there was runes, right? The story for runes is Casey Rodimer developed it. Therefore, like the Ordinals cabal supported it.
Right.
Right. This is like, okay, this is developed by the team at Unisat, right? There's quite a force there too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure. They got network connections to Binance.
Yeah.
I mean, they're well connected.
Yeah. So what is it, Duke? How can we make sense of what Fractal actually is?
Well, if you want to get deeper into what Fractal is, there's just a single page.
To the docs.
It's just a homepage.
Yeah.
But they link out to development resources and all this stuff. But Here's their website, and essentially it's a fork of Bitcoin with upgrades. That's what it is.
Okay.
And so every fractal instance has self-replicating consistently with Bitcoin. So it's just a fork, and there's another explanation here that basically takes that fork of Bitcoin and we're going to show you that they're going to try to add OPNet to it. But the idea is to fork Bitcoin, add the functionality of scalability to it, and I mean, all of a sudden, it's like stuff that we've seen before in the past.
It's the solution, though.
Yeah.
But this time around, it's going to really change some stuff.
Yeah, this time.
Because of that story I'm talking, because it's coming from some notable, reputable source, right? Unisat has contributed tremendously to like the fungible token equation on Bitcoin, right? BRC20s.
Yeah.
If Unisat team wasn't around to support that, you can make the argument, fungible tokens on Bitcoin probably never would have had some legs to stand on, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like factor that in now to this mechanism of, I guess, forking the Bitcoin core code for whatever reason. In history's past, there's been like large arguments within the Bitcoin core community, right? We need to do this to increase the block size.
Yeah. We've seen this a number of times. Bitcoin Cash was the big one.
And Bitcoin Satoshi Vision.
Satoshi Vision was the next one after that, and that was big too.
Yeah, I mean, and they garnered a lot of interest. Their own communities who align with the ethos of what it is they're attempting to do, right? We need to fractalize Bitcoin and its potential to generate these network effects and this node support, right? But individually, they're their own standalone chains,
right,
with their own native functionalities and like perks.
And that's the key. So their standalone chain means that you're not on
Bitcoin's chain.
That's right. You're not on Bitcoin's chain.
Oh, no.
Why would you want to be on Bitcoin's chain, man?
Right, yeah. So, fuck, man. So, it's one of those things, man. It's like, is it genuine? I don't know. I don't think it's painfully obvious for people. It's just...
That's a good question. Is this like a genuine attempt to, like, improve the functionality of... I mean, you're not really improving the functionality of Bitcoin. All you're doing is you're porting assets from Bitcoin to this other chain, a la... Merlin,
a bridge,
right?
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden you think you're gonna have like an explosion of like transactions. I mean, what exactly are you gonna be doing on these secondary chains that you can't do on Bitcoin?
Yeah, this is the ultimate like question for the entire ecosystem, and the space of building on Bitcoin needs to kind of like self-reflect and figure out, I guess. This is an invisible hand question, right? What are you guys gonna do in light of this whole ecosystem that's emerging, where there's true building and construction happening on layer one.
Yeah.
And then there's these other like, tertiary ecosystem attempts to try and like basically fractionalize liquidity away from Bitcoin and to like, create their own structures.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfectly okay to do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, look at this. Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, market cap 700 million.
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
That isn't a joke. That's nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, you can get builders. A lot of the builders who've been building here on Ordinals came from this ecosystem, right?
Yeah, Unisat.
Yeah, Unisat included. Probably now it's like a full circle picture here now, right?
Yeah.
Those guys, they aligned initially. It was like, you know what? We could build better stuff with a better version of Bitcoin. It's called BSV.
Unisat, Ordinals Wallet, they all came from BSV.
Yeah, Jack Liu.
That's why they're so quick to building stuff on Bitcoin, just because they've already done it.
Yeah.
Right, in a more scalable chain called Bitcoin Satoshi Vision.
Yeah, which it still has a lot of the infrastructure compatibilities to Bitcoin, right? Like UTXOs and
that's the same
PSBTs,
thing.
all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. BSV is already like a proven fractal instance to Bitcoin, and you have seen developer activity.
Yeah.
But you got to ask yourself the question. It's like, okay, me as a developer, do I want to build here? Or do I want to build...
Or a place where there's $1 trillion in market cap.
Right. Do I more so want to... Do I want to hedge my like existence as a developer, as a company, whatever ecosystem, to something that's been attempted in the past, like a BSV or Bitcoin Cash, whatever?
Yeah, we got to remember our history, right? Ordinals Wallet, Unisat, there's others that came from BSV, Jack Liu.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now they're talking about Bitcoin because there was no audience on BSV. Yeah, it was a ghost town.
They all came quickly back to Bitcoin, right? Once a layer one like protocol emerged, right?
Yeah.
And now because layer ones are down a bit, Ordinals specifically, right? The market of that.
Yeah, we need to build somewhere else now.
Yeah. I think that's potentially a failed non-starter thesis, but nonetheless, the VCs seem to disagree with us, right?
Yeah, they disagree so hard, dude, that they've invested in over 65 projects.
Yeah.
That are layer 2 Bitcoin.
Yeah, and in total, $100 million just in the last quarter, right?
Yeah.
Basically, the last 3 months. That's how much money has been aggregated, and people with significant, value at their disposal have been convinced like this is the strategy, right? We need to bifurcate away from Bitcoin.
Yeah.
For to encumber this 2 sats per V by reality that Bitcoin layer 1 is kind of imposed.
Yeah, look at this: 4 sats, 3 sats, 3 sats.
Yeah,
like this is what we're trying to decongest with the Bitcoin layer 2.
Isn't it obvious? We need to we need to port away from L1.
Yeah, this makes no sense. This is like insanity.
Yeah, well, it's just so this is how the industry operates, right? It's like this, and this is what Ethereum did. So of course, it's going to make sense to do this on Bitcoin, but they're missing the context of what actually happened last cycle on Ethereum.
Yeah,
it was a layer 1 cycle.
Yeah, exactly. This $60 billion thing called NFTs.
It was on layer 1 of Ethereum.
Layer 1, yeah.
Yeah. This thing called DeFi was a layer 1 phenomenon.
Right.
It was once it got to the point where it's like, okay, we've created enough sticky metas within this Web3 industry now through the leveraging of the programmability layer embedded within Ethereum, right? Smart contracts, EVM, all that.
Let me say that one more time, because I don't think people understand what $60 billion in just NFT like traction was. $60 billion is more than 60 times bigger than Bitcoin Satoshi Vision in terms of market cap. Right? We're talking about that, bringing that activity on layer 1, and then you take that activity and then you say, you know what would be better? Is if we do this on layer 2 so that we don't have to spend $300 per transaction just to sell my shit picture.
Correct. Yeah. So that's the context that's missing, I guess, as of right now. So we had an entire cycle last year of proving, I guess, layer 1 programmability's use cases, right, on Ethereum, right? We haven't had that yet on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We're still figuring out the state of programmability native to Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So we said this before. We said this when Merlin was entering the space. Like it's jumping the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
I understand the attempt because back in those days, things were showing evidence of potential stickiness, right? Ordinals itself, BRC20s. Like there were moments of time where there were like actual signs of too much congestion, right? Runes for like a day or two, pretty much. But ultimately, we don't have a full cycle of evidence to suggest like this is the strategy, right? To scale this industry, this ecosystem moving forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, so we've seen it with Merlin, and I mean, a lot of people are now, detractors of Merlin. They're saying that get your bitmaps out of it because it's being held at ransom.
Yeah,
so
you have to deal with that now. As positive as it was, 8 months ago, now you got to deal with like how do you deal with the sentiment that comes from, I guess,
and by the way, you have to do the exact same thing with Fractal Bitcoin and all these like layer 2s. You have to port your assets over there.
Yeah.
So there's an element of trust, and there's like all these things that you have to do, and you got to trust the team, and then you have to, leverage whatever they built and believe that you're going to get your assets back if something goes wrong. And who knows? Yeah.
So that's our take, but still, nonetheless. Is it going to be entertaining? Most likely, yes, because enough people will kind of believe in it for a point in time, right? Just like enough people thought Merlin was a good idea.
Yeah, there is viability here, obviously, but
yeah, and then there's that
not 65 of these are viable.
Well, we're specifically talking about Fractal, though. I'm not saying all 65 of these are going to have cycles of entertainment within them, right? Most of these are just going to be straight floppenings out the gate, right? Because there's nothing notable about them. There's no good story. Stories drive narrative. Narratives drive market activity, right? Just like Ordinals had a good story.
Yeah.
It was a unique, original attempt at...
I see what you're saying with the story here with Fractal Bitcoin, but, I mean, how is this any different than Bitcoin Satoshi Vision?
Well, it's not, except for a systemic way, I guess, to kind of like roll these out perpetually, right? You want your own Satoshi Vision to support the metaverse, a la Uniworlds? You could do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's basically, this is like app chaining Bitcoin, turning Bitcoin into like an app chain system, right? Which perfectly fine. We're simply saying a little bit quick, lads. Like, let's more so emphasize the focus again on layer 1 programmability, right? Which is what TAP is working on.
Yep.
And we made a video last week. There's like 10 others attempting to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we're focused on, because we think that's where the value is actually going to emerge. Value such as DMT creation. It's all native to layer 1. And once these things are proven as like actual industry verticals that emerge from Bitcoin, all right.
Then let's figure out where to make this action more equitable for everybody instead of $300 per transaction.
Correct. Yeah, then we can start considering UI, UX for the masses, right? Just like that's where Ethereum is right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so we're a little too speed running a little too hard, my friends.
Yeah.
A little too much.
I totally agree. All right, guys, that's it for us. If we miss anything in the Bitcoin Layer 2 race, let us know in the comment section below. Also, appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.